Hiyo kitu nimewekelea hapo kama bado tutatengeneza baadaye. Focus iko sawa?
Yes?
What's up? France? Okay, you start. Okay.
Yes.
Start with the name.
Okay. My name is Julius Opio. I'm the chairman of Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Nairobi chapter. And today we had an event on the Electric Mobility Stakeholders Forum, whereby we're looking at the opportunities that we can tap into and work with the current new government in place to see how we can have the first adoption of electric vehicles in Kenya. We're looking at 2, 3, and 4-wheeler vehicles and see how we can have mass adoption. We've had challenges in the past in regards to the tax regime in terms of how it's structured and has made the vehicles unaffordable. So we're looking at border riders tapping into electric vehicles, and by using electric vehicles, they'll be able to bring down their costs of operations, and at the same time, we create more jobs into that sector and see how we can be efficient in terms of transportation at the level of two-wheelers. Another area of opportunities is in regards to the mass transport system, whereby we can actually also incorporate electric vehicles and in this regard, four-wheelers, which are actually buses. We have a BRT system that the government is building, and we've seen that there's an opportunity for us to tap into the electric buses and see how we can improve the mass transport system. And we also engaged our legal experts, tax consultants, and also associations in the electric vehicle space in this forum. We had financial at the national level and also at the county level. So as a country, we stand a very big opportunity to take the lead in electric cars adoption in Kenya and across Africa. We also have a big export market. If you look at the current consumption of, let's say, for example, two-wheelers, is about 680,000 motorbikes in the region. These are bikes that can be assembled in Kenya and exported to the region, and we can take advantage of the regional trade associations and agreements that have been signed at the regional level and Africa-wide level. With those few remarks, that's all I have to say. If you have any questions, please go ahead and ask. Okay? That's fine. Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Daniel Ngumi, Managing Partner of Anjawala & Kana, ALN Kenya. It's been a very exciting time to speak about e-mobility. E-mobility is the future. We have seen initiatives, first of all, looking at what the President said at the UNGA address with respect to the need for countries in Africa to be really focused on climate change. And we believe that with e-mobility, the opportunity for Africa to entirely change the course of history is a great opportunity we have here. Part of the conversation we had was with respect to engaging the government on both fiscal and non-fiscal changes that are required to make e-mobility a reality. A lot of the issues we spoke about were with respect to the need to think about the laws, the legal framework that will allow for electric vehicles of all types to be brought into the country. Part of the conversation was about policy, how policy needs to be framed and changed, how incentives can be given. In particular, we talked about tax incentives that can be given to incentivize the importation, the domestic manufacture of electric vehicles. We also talked about the opportunities that can be given for charging infrastructure, an enabling environment where KPLC and other electricity distributors can think about tariff rates that are going to incentivize the charging infrastructure being created all over the country. And also we talked about the need for consumer awareness, the need to talk to the common man about why an electric vehicle is as efficient, if not more cost efficient, than a normal internal combustion engine. This conversation is just the beginning. We believe that there is going to be great need over the coming months to speak to government directly about changing the law and about the, in particular with respect to the finance bill and the Finance Act in the coming years, to enact a lot of these incentives for purposes of allowing not just the assembly of electric vehicles in Kenya, but potentially the manufacture of electric vehicles in Kenya. In particular, one of the key focus areas that we believe will be key will be giving specific exemptions to lithium-ion batteries, which are specifically used by electric vehicles, and to enable and to incentivize the importation of electric vehicles into Kenya. Thank you very much. We look forward to continuing to engage on this topic in days to come.
Thank you so much. It's an honor and pleasure to be here. I'm the lead researcher with the Association for Electric Mobility and Development in Africa, IEMDA. My name is Tom. I'd like to extend our thanks to KNCCI for their work here in supporting this kind of roundtable. It's important for industry stakeholders, including the entrepreneurs themselves, including banks, supporting institutions, to come together and to have a greater understanding of why e-mobility is the best path forward for Kenya. So not only, of course, are we talking about reducing the impacts of climate change, which farmers and many others feel on the daily, but also to reduce air pollution on the streets, which kills too many Kenyans, as well as reducing the cost that Kenyans pay on fuel, which right now is at an all-time high. It is important to understand that this is also a means of reducing forex expenditure, improve the purchasing of Kenyan-made electricity. The benefits are almost too many to count. So at IEMDA, our role here is to bring together folks, such as was done today, and in order to support these policies as proposed, this includes reducing or eliminating altogether excise taxes, import taxes, having zero-rated VAT, creating special EV tariffs, electricity. Towards the end of the month, on the 29th of October, we'll be hosting an exhibition. That's a Saturday, an exhibition at the waterfront in Karen. All are free and welcome to come to check out all of the different wonderful electric vehicles that are on offer here in Kenya, and to speak with the many stakeholders that are making this transition happen. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
What should the government do to encourage more investors into our production of
I think all the points have been covered by my colleagues here. But what we would like to ask the government, we're looking at it from the short term to the medium term and long term. For the immediate short term, in the first 100 days, we would request the government to give 100% exemption on the lithium-ion batteries applicable to electric vehicles and charging infrastructure. This is one thing that if they implement by the end of this year in their first 100 days, it will have a dramatic impact to the transport sector, especially for the two-wheelers. That's number one. Number two, we have quite a number of investors who want to set up assembly plants here in Kenya to assemble electric vehicles, whether they're two-wheelers, three-wheelers, or four-wheelers. This will encourage them to make the investment and create more jobs and make us a leader when it comes to assembling and exportation of electric vehicles. And thirdly, the impact it will have on the fuel savings. The money we spend on importing fuel for the internal combustion engines is quite huge. So there'll be a saving in terms of our forex expenditure when it comes to importing fuel, and we start consuming locally produced energy through whether it is hydro, geothermal, or renewable solar energy. So these are the opportunities we are looking at, and these are the low-hanging fruits that we're encouraging. We'll be engaging our government at the national level, and also in Nairobi County. We would like Nairobi County to take the lead when it comes to electric mobility and set the pace for the rest of the country. So that's what we're looking at in terms of the low-hanging fruits.
There are those international investors who want to come and set up. Maybe can you say something about the current business environment
Yes, we have international investors who are ready to set up assembly plants for electric vehicles. But one challenge they're faced with is the way the tax is structured. It is not supportive of electric vehicles. Traditionally, we've been focused more on internal combustion engine vehicles. So most of the, if you look at the legislation in Kenya, is geared toward internal combustion engines. So we have investors who want to invest in electric vehicles, but one big hindrance is the tax. If you look at the tax on the lithium-ion battery, just one tax component is 35%. When you add other tax components, it adds up to around 55%. So a simple motorcycle that should be costing around, let's say, 120,000 or to 150,000 ends up costing around 250,000. So it becomes unaffordable to the boda rider. Currently, one of the biggest costs, if you look at a boda rider, is the fuel expenditure he spends on a daily basis doing his business. And then secondly, is when it comes to maintenance of the two-wheeler. Now, with electric vehicles, it addresses both the fuel saving component and also maintenance component. And it makes a boda rider become more economically empowered and is able to create more jobs, not only for himself or herself, but also for the entire value chain when it comes to maintenance of these vehicles. So that is what we would like to do now in terms of the low-hanging fruit, and that's the opportunity we see with the current government as it stands. In terms of the long-term strategy, we are going to engage more of our stakeholders. We have our legal experts here, Anjawala, Daniel, he has represented us. We have AEMDA, where we're looking at even in the long term, how to go into charging infrastructure used in assembling the vehicles, and what kind of investment and incentives can we give when it comes to the entire ecosystem. Another area in the long term that came out of this discussion was training, the need for universities to train more students when it comes to automotive, when it comes to the automotive sector. So we need more electric engineers, automotive engineers specializing in automotives, electric automotives, to be trained at that polytechnic level, and then all the way up to the university level. So, yeah.
Lastly, can you speak about the benefits maybe of joining Kenya National Chamber of Commerce?
Yes, what I would say there are lots of benefits of joining Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. When you join the chamber, you're able to engage with networks that are from the various sectors, networks within your sector. We also provide access to finance, access to markets. We advocate for the business depending on the sector you're in, like now what we are doing with the electric mobility. We are also very strong when it comes to capacity building and training for companies that would like to scale up. And we generally have a network that cuts across the whole country, the whole continent, and across the whole world. Anywhere you go to around the world, you'll get a Chamber of Commerce. So we give you access to all these opportunities as a member of the Chamber. And I would like to encourage each one of you or each one of us who are in business, no matter how small you are, if you're a micro enterprise, a startup, the Chamber is there for you. If you're a big corporate, we also accommodate you from whichever size you are and whichever sector you belong to. And that's what makes us unique as a business membership organization. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Nice.
I think you've said more than enough.
Yeah, we've exhausted everything. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Aki, asanteni watu wangu. But do you know them for citizen in Nigeria?
Bro, imeisha. Imeisha.